Hello everyone, welcome. Hi, it's Rose. Welcome to our channel. Today we are working on creating 3 storage spots, flip out storage spots for our journals. I'm working with the 1789 Versailles kit. And what I'll be doing today, you can create with any papers, not specific to this particular kit. I'm also working with the French Blue Paris. That was the freebies from last year. So this is the 1789 Versailles kit. And this is the French Blue Paris kit. So they're almost interchangeable. And we'll learn about different closures. So we'll talk about Velcro closures and magnetic closures and some of the other kind of closures that you can make just using paper and cardboard. I hope you'll join me. It'll be fun, and I'll see you soon. Okay, the first thing we're gonna make is one of these, I guess, this closure here is one of the first types of closures I'm gonna teach you. So we're gonna make a flip out, and it will be a little bit different than this, but I wanted to show you it'll have the same basic mechanics. I like to include something like this in my journal, at least in one place where I can store loose ephemera or loose anything that's fairly big in size. So this one here is made for the 1789 Versailles kit, or journal, sorry, and I will probably end up with more things in the center, but it's mostly I'm wanting a place that I can place things that are bigger, that I'm just going to want to keep a hold of, and that's why it's got a closure on 4 sides. I'm going to show you, well, let me say this also. I really like this paper, so I didn't even want to cover it up with pockets. There's not a lot of times that is actually true for me, and so I honored my heart and I left it alone. I'm going to show you in the we're going to work in the French Blue Paris with the freebies, and I've picked a page right here, and I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to do the same thing because exactly, but very close, because I want to show you a variation. So what you're going to do is basically pick some paper that you think goes, and a page that you don't mind using. So I'm actually going to use this one because it's fairly blank. And what I'm going to do is you can choose anywhere what you would like, where you would like to have the opening. So on this one, see how I chose to have it in the middle? So you could have it down here, you'd have it up here. You could choose, really, honestly, wherever you would like. So on this one, since that one was kind of in the middle, let's see what's on this side. It's really not going to matter. So I'm going to actually trim it into about where I want my closure to be. And so let's see here. Yeah, let's still do it. Let's do it more like here. Okay. So you'll have your 2 pieces. And at this point in time, I like to give myself, I'm going to set this aside for a second. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a score edge because it's going to flip down on either side that is the bottom, not where they meet, but the part where the top and the bottom. So I'm scoring that because I'm going to need to fold it. See, it's not, I haven't, I'll just let you see, it's just a tiny little bit of a lip that I did. And these are also going to have to overlap a little bit. So I'm going to make this one here and this one here. Right. Okay. So now I also need to trim a little bit on the sides, otherwise it's going to hang out. So I'm going to do that also. Not a lot off the one side. It doesn't matter which side that it comes off of. So you can fit it to any journal size and you can use any paper. That's what I'm wanting to show you. So let's see. Okay. So the other thing I want to do at this point in time is to kind of, oops, we're going to do it this way, is the corners. I'm going to use a corner punch, probably my favorite one, if I can quickly find it. So just to get these to match, I'm just going to do a basic rounded one. You could actually do anything. You could get fancy here, you could get decorative, however you want, but I'm going to make so that all four of my corners there match, and then I'm going to ink. So I'll be right back after I've inked. Okay, so now I've got them inked. I inked at the top, the bottom, and the sides. What I'm going to do is just glue those into my journal. And I'm only going to just glue here at using the bottom. Put one first, and you'll want to bring it up just a little bit from the edge. You can choose, knowing that this page is just a little bit smaller than the page itself. Get it where you want and overlap it. I'm centering it on the page. You do not need to center it on the page. You could put it down at the bottom or put it at the top. And if what you were doing was so I want to make sure that they overlap enough that I'm going to be able to put my closure there. So if what you were doing was what I showed you here, and this other one that has the flaps that open up, this is where at this point in time you could cut flaps to place on either side, and you would do just exactly what you did here and here. They would just be going the opposite way on either side. I'm not going to do that here because I think that's self-explanatory, and I want to give you another option. So I couldn't decide, and I haven't been able to decide if I'm going to use these papers here. Probably I will use these because they're more aged, but I'm going to make a little bit of a fold out. So I'll tell you, I've been debating. I found this French dictionary. Super excited about that because not only is it a French dictionary, but the type is also in blue and black. So I thought I might, yeah, you know what? Let's use a couple of these pages. So I'm just going to pick, this one has Parfum on it. It's that one. Maybe I'll use a combination. You'll need a couple of papers. Basically, we're going to get the papers to be the same size, and then we're going to ink them. So let's see, I'm going to use one. So what I've got is this one that's folding, so I'm going to count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pages. I'm actually going to glue these at the bottom, right here, right now, and then I'm going to trim them. I want these to match in size, so I'm going to trim them up so that they match in size, and then I'm going to have them match my edges here. So be right back. So I have these 3 here, and they all are the same size and they match. Okay, you could use any paper. And I'm going to now, I've got the bottom glued. I'm going to glue the edge of each of these. Make a decision here. One will be going in the, well, just decide the order. So I think I actually didn't love this as much because it's a whiter. I think I will like these if I coffee dye them or tea dye them. So I'm going to put that in the center, actually, the center one. So what we'll want to do is put the 2 outside ones together, okay? And basically, I'm going to choose as best I can. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. We're going to attach these kind of in an accordion style. And the first thing that we're going to actually do is just glue right down the center here. Get these where you're going to want them. Get them straight. Yep. We're going to do the same thing here, just roughly right down the center. This one too, right down the center. Before this dries, just make sure that the edges are even. Oops. Because that moved, I'm going to have to do it this way. So if yours move, just want to make sure that they're lined up. Okay. And then here on this side, and this one, right here. Whoops. It's got 3 little pockets here. Put something in. Okay. So I don't want to play with it too much right now while it's not dry. So let's work on the closure here. So the closure that I showed you with that was on the other one. I'm going to show you on another journal in just a bit in the video. This one I'm just actually going to use Velcro. I have these Velcro strips, and I'm actually just going to close it with the Velcro. And the way that I do that to get them the same is basically I'm going to put the two pieces that go together, the front and the opposite side. And put them together with the sticky stuff so that they're matched together, and then just pick. These are pretty simple to do. Okay. They just stick on. But the reason I did that is that I'm going to use the opportunity to use your fussy cut of choice here, because it can kind of hang down. So I've got the choice of this one, or this one, or this one. You know what? I like the butterfly. And so it's not really an element that is like a working element with the Velcro. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it to a little bit of cardboard, and I'll be right back. Put this right here. I'm not going to glue it down here, just half. Probably decorated a little bit more, but I'm going to move on because we've got quite a bit to cover. So this basically is just what we've got here. You'll see at the end, I'll show you a little bit more, but what we've got is a little bit of it. You could add more than 3. I think you could, you know, yeah, you could definitely add more than 3, but these could get stuffed with anything extra too that you might, you know, have that you want to put in there. Okay. Okay, so next. We're going to make something like this, but we're going to make it in the other journal. Excuse me. We're going to make it in the 1789 Versailles kit. Actually, I think I'm going to put that there. There we go. So this has a tuck here for some larger items. And then this has a magnet closure. You could use a magnet or a Velcro closure on this. And then as you open it up, it's got 2 side pockets. And then 1 pocket here. What you can see is, I'm not going to do the one in the other journal the exact same design. The flips will be the same, but we're going to alter what we use as a closure. And then we're going to alter what we put here and here so that you can see the versatility of the interchangeability of some of the designs. And that way you can kind of adapt it to the kit you're working with. You can adapt it to the size of ephemera that you're trying to stuff. So this one here, it's got some glue right here in the center to make my 2 pockets here and this here. So let's get started. We're going to work in the other journal. I'm not going to put something like this in every signature. I'm showing you 3 so that I have chosen to put 1 in each signature, and I'm varying the kind of the storage in each one. So that's why this video is basically mastering storage and like an envelope flip out and then closure. So I'm not going to put it in this signature. I'm going to choose another signature. And probably choose this one. There's so little in here, I think. Let's see. Put it on this side here. So you pick some paper. we're going to use one sheet of paper. It's printed double-sided, and basically, let's see here. I think mine doesn't matter on this side. Do I like this better? Yeah, I like this. So basically what you're going to do is choose about how big you're going to want your flap to be here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut I'm going to base it on my design and what I'm wanting to show. That's how I'm making my design decision here is don't want to cut off too much of that. We go here, and then I'm just looking at the orientation. That's part of what I'm trying to look at here. So you see, this is going to end up getting put here and then folded over. So let's see what this looks like here. Or I guess if we do it this way, right? Have an inside matching here. What does this look like? How much would I don't think I like that as much. So let's do it this way. Maybe I won't put so much because I think that's really beautiful. Maybe I won't put so much there. So basically you've cut off, and this could be at any width, approximately. Mine, I will tell you right now, is, let's see, I've cut off 3 inches. Okay, so this is 3, and because I'm using the US letter, this is the 8.5 by 11, this is 5.5. Okay, so essentially here on this side here, I need to do the same thing that I did with the other one, which is to create a little bit of a score. Not much of one, but just enough. Probably needs a little bit. There we go. You don't want to score it too much, guys. I've made that mistake a couple of times, and then I've gone through my paper. So don't be so aggressive like me. Okay, I am going to take just a second, and before I do that, I'm going to take just a second, and I'm going to ink these edges. I hate to waste your time with that. I've got it inked now, and what I'm going to do here, similar to the other one, is add my glue and just, oops. So I'm wanting it to be like it was kind of an added page. That's how I'm choosing to place it in here so that, whoops. We have to add more glue, guys. I'm paying attention to this edge here and how it meets this other page so that it kind of looks like one piece. There we go. Okay. And then this piece goes in here. I'm going to leave enough that I can tuck something in the inside here. And also have enough to come over and make my closure here. And then enough that I know that that is like a tuck spot there. So let's see. Yeah, that's probably good. So I'm going to decorate the edge here a little bit, just by, I think I'm going to use this paper punch. All right. I'm thinking that's part of why I'm quiet. I really like this rose and I'm having a difficult time wanting to cover her up. So I'm thinking right now about what I want to do. Okay. To do, well, let me first say this. So the other one, I backed this side with some paper to make the one that has this, the one in the center. So basically what I did was create a notch here and create a notch here, and then I backed this just by, I created a pocket for it so that it was, put glue along here and along here and along here, so that there was like a separate, this separate page had two pockets here, and this was smooth on this side for my tuck on this side. So instead of doing it that way, I'm still going to add a paper to back, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create them long ways, two pockets long ways. So that's not something I like, but maybe that is better. So I'm going to think about my pockets more like this instead, because I'm having such a difficult time covering this up. And because I'm making that choice, I'm going to cut some of this off here. I'm going to tell you that, like, there's not really a right and a wrong way about a lot of things. One thing I know is that this process is one of the best ways to get to know yourself and your heart. And my heart was just like, it loves that flower so much, it just doesn't want to cover up. So that's why I opted to cut a little bit off. And what I'm going to do here right now is trim this paper right there. So what you can see now is I've got an edge here, an edge here, but let's see, probably like this. Perfect. Great. So now I'm just going to pick where I'm going to create my notches so that they're kind of even the way that they are. What I'm going to do is pick probably, and I want them to be about the same. So that's part of why I've turn my page the opposite way of how it's going to lay. So I'm going to ink the creases too. That's just my personal choice and my personal taste. so that when I glue this down, okay, what I'm going to do now is add glue here, here, and here so that I'm creating a pocket that is separate from the pocket that's on the other side. So I'm going to add glue here, not all the way to the edge because I'm having that poke out, and along this side here. So if you wanted to, you could see here, we could layer it up again. We could even have put something in the middle so that if you wanted to have 3, you'd have 1, 2, 3. But I'm having my pockets be more like that. Okay. And part of the reason why that page was added here, I just want to make sure you understand that I've glued this down so that sliding something in this way, it isn't caught up. Okay. So now I want to make sure I leave enough space here to slide something in on both sides, and then enough to where I can tuck something in here. And I probably, let's see, that's probably good. So at this point, I've got it where I'd like, and I'm going to glue it down. So I'm going to add glue here. And I'm going to add some glue here too. Okay. Here we go. So I'll spend time off camera decorating, but I want you to see that what we have right now is, so we have a tuck spot here for something larger, right? And then we do also have a tuck spot here, fairly deep, and then one here too. And I added glue about halfway just because I wanted to make this stronger. You could not, it's up to you, but I wanted to have some, I might even glue up a little bit more. So now we just need to decide what are we gonna put on this side? How do we want to decorate this side? I used pockets there before, and what I think I might do is create shall we use some of the pockets that we have? I think I'm just going to cut out one of these pockets and we'll put one here to tuck a tag. Okay, I noticed that as I was working that I actually had gotten this too much. I had, the more that I seem to open and close this, I've got a little bit of an issue here. So I want to show you about repair. It's a great opportunity to show you about repair. I'm actually going to see what I can do about, I may not be able to get this up, but I am going to try to open this a little bit, not all the way. Okay. I use this a lot. This is just medical tape. And so what I'm going to do is right over this edge, I'm going to cover just enough that I can add some integrity to the part that is got the little bit of the perforation there. Okay. adding the medical tape, and because it's fairly transparent, so you can make a choice if you want to just leave it and, you know, not cover that up. Don't think it looks too bad, but I don't love how it looks. So what I'm going to do is find another strip of paper. We're just going to glue that down there and kind of cover up my boo-boo. So let's see. I chose this because it kind of matches this here, and all I'm going to do is actually I'll ink the edge that is showing. And really, you can do that any places that you see that you've made a little bit of a mistake. There is no, there's nothing that you can't fix or repair. It's paper. And so if you can do your best not to take yourself so seriously, go ahead and be adventurous here. Be willing to try things that you're not sure are going to work. I do that because I don't always do a good job of doing that in my life. Sometimes it's a little more challenging to operate from that perspective in life. And if I'm practicing that here in my art, it makes making those choices, the adventurous ones, a little more possible for me. So I get used to dealing with the adventure of the unknown. Like, what will that look like? I'm not sure if I'm going to like that. Oh, okay, I can make another choice. So that was a small repair that we made there. I'll just glue this back. And probably nobody will know that there's actually a piece of stronger, oops, this has got to dry though first, okay, before we move forward too much. We need to put the pocket in, so I'm going to put the pocket in, but before I do that, these pockets can be layered in quite a few different ways, and just so I'll show you that really quick. Like, they could be layered like this, okay, and I gave you pockets that are slanted this way, and then I also gave you pockets, this is not the one to show you, but it is angled the opposite way so that they could be crisscrossed. They can be placed in many different ways, in different angles, so experiment with the angles and the placement of your pockets. Be adventurous, right? So I could put one here, and then I could also flip one up and put it here and have like a double tuck spot. That's something I could do. I'm going to, I like this slot punch, and I like this slot punch because it's going to allow me to either make, let's see, I don't know if I put that one there. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I don't need another. I'm just going to add another pocket thing here. We'll see. I've got so many pockets that I have to use anyways. I don't need to actually do that. So when you glue your pockets on, if you don't like these little edges that are in the kit, just cut them off. A lot of people tell me, oh, I didn't love those. I like them because then I can tuck things in the journal all the way to the edge, but not everybody likes that. So I think we're going to put this one in there. I was going to try and put her here, but did you see these super cute vocabulary cards? They're in the OG ephemera kit. I think they're so cute. Okay, this is one of the Freya Friday freebies. I've got a page of these girls, but I don't think I'm going to put that there. I will decorate this later and figure out what I'm going to tuck in there, because I want to move on and I want to get you to the last kind of flip tuck storage spot. And I gave myself an hour to give you that tutorial. Okay, so this one, we're going to use a magnet closure on this. And so what you do, I don't love the magnets for a couple of reasons, because it means that I have to figure out a way to kind of hide things. So I may not do that on this one. No, I'm not going to use a magnet on this one. I'm going to use the other kind of closure that I showed you on the other one. So for that one, you'll need to have 2 different size hole punches. This one is a, I'm not even sure. It's fairly small. It's bigger than a regular size hole punch. So I've got that one. Okay. Not even sure what the actual size is, and I don't see anywhere that tells me. So I've got one that's a little bit bigger and one that's a little bit smaller. And what I've done is just glued some scrap to a piece of cardboard. And what you'll need is, on the smaller one, you're going to cut like 3 of those, 3 of the smaller ones. Oh my goodness. I've used my smallest one, and I've cut out 4 circles. Oh my gosh. And all I'm going to do is pick whatever string, twine, whatever it is that you're going to use as your closure to wrap around. Pick out how much you want. And on one of them, you're going to actually glue them back to back with the string in the center. So it'll be like glue here. Put your string in the center. And you want to give it a little bit of time to dry. Okay, so you have one like that. And then this other one, you're just gonna glue these together. This could, you might even sometimes need, I think 2 is probably good. But I've done 3 before. You want enough, something that's raised that kind of catches your string. Okay, and I'm going to ink these because you'll see this one, but you won't see this one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this one, I could decide, am I trying to make my thing like it's opening this way, right? And I'm actually wanting it to be this way because I may add a fussy cut here for my decoration. So I'm going to want my closure right about here. And what I'm going to do is, for the first thing I want to do is probably attach my so I'm going to turn this over and know approximately, and I want my string to be going to the direction that I'm going to be wrapping it. So and this is actually how I'm attaching the closure. I'm not actually gluing the button to the page. Okay, so what I'm just doing is I'm gluing, there's space in between my button and the closure. So I'm gonna have to let this dry before I move on. So, or before I wrap it. So let me just say, I can move on as far as like showing you what to do. So this one is gonna go about here, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna just, we want it to be hidden. So probably right about there. And I'm just gonna glue this. We'll let that dry. That's it. This is what's gonna be catching my so when I'm done, I'll end up being able to wrap so it's not like a huge like, oh my gosh, hold me tight forever or whatever closure, because I'm going to want to put like a little button or a little something else on the top that catches my thing, probably like, I don't know. This one is a little bit bigger circle on cardboard too, and now it's going to go on the top here. And I'll show you at the end what it ends up looking like, but basically I want it to that's how we're going to do the closure, but I don't think it's got enough integrity at this point in time. And so probably I'll put a little tassel. I like to put a little tassel, but that's what it'll look like, and we'll have it decorated, so we'll be able to do a tuck in here. So we don't have much time. We got about 15 minutes to do the last one. Let's go tuck here. I'll show you at the end. Okay, I thought I'd just show you before I move on really quick. So this is one of the sheets that has these guys on it, smaller. I think there is 12 on each sheet. I figured they'd fit really cute here. So I'm going to show you how to make the pockets similar or the same. So pick them where they were all the same orientation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make the edges all similar using my corner rounder. Okay, and then because I'm going to choose to have them inserted this way, whatever I put in, I'm going to put these in the inside. Then what I'm going to do is create my notch, and I want the notches to match. That's kind of why I've kept these together. So to do that, I'm going to use this little, I like this notch. So, yep. Just do that, and then see how it's like this. I'm going to ink. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to ink, and I'm just going to choose my placement here. I think I put her in the center. Oh, I probably could have gotten, can I get 4? No. Let's just put them where you want. I'm going to center this by doing her first, and they need, actually, I probably need my smaller tip. At some point, I'm going to have to switch to that because I need a lot less glue. But I could have decorated this side with anything. You know, like 1 pocket here, 2 pockets here, no pockets, a fussy cut. I think the possibilities really are endless. I'll probably add some, maybe a sentiment or a word or something that might go there, but these will just, let's stick those in there. Okay. I put a few other things in here. That'll probably change by the time I get to the end of the journal. But I've got this here and decorated this here. And then I think this might be dry enough. I added a little tassel. So really the idea here is that you're gonna go around both of these. Oops, didn't get that. You're going to want to make sure that you're going behind. Let me just show you. It goes behind this. There's a space behind it. You have to make sure that you kind of catch your string with when you do it the first time. Not sure, maybe. I don't know. Definitely going to have to adjust the length of that, I think, there. But you get the idea. Okay, should we get started on the last one? The last one is going to be, let me show you the completed one. So I put this together with a closure that is just a paper clip. The other one, the next one, I'm going to try and show you a magnet. I can't promise. I don't love them. I'm learning to use them, but they require planning ahead, and I'm not always in that mode when I'm creating. So has a flip out this way and a flip out this way. That's the main thing that I'm focusing on. So it's a little tuck spot there. I've got these envelopes in here that you can show you two ways of using the envelopes. I'll probably, since the freebies have some envelopes, I'll probably include some in the other kit, or excuse me, in the other journal, and show you how to use those there. So probably add some envelopes, and then this here has a pocket back here. So it's pretty simple. Let's get started. Okay, this is going to require just a little bit of planning here. So what I'm going to do is to have the piece that is the flip out this way, I'm just going to approximate about what I'd like. Okay. And as I cut it, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you alternative ways of doing these flips. So just going to cut this right here. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Okay. That will go here. I'm going to choose right now about my corners, and I'm going to make my corners rounded. That's optional. Okay. And if I was going to do some kind of decorating the way the other one has, if you want to, create a punch here and have a sliding tag, it's a perfect opportunity to create a window tag. I'm not going to take the time to show you that here because I think that a window tag might be another video. Okay, but we're going to get that where that's going to go. And then we have this other piece here. So remember, the way that I've bound these is maybe not one I'll do again. I thought I'd try it, just wrapping it, but so that I could pull them in and out, but because it's not elastic, it's not my favorite. We'll see how it goes. So this one here, this also is meant to be a flip out, and the one that I had in the other book has a piece here, so let's cut that. create a notch here. Before I glue this together, I'm going to ink. I'll be right back. So I'm going to just place this here. Around my corners. So this piece goes here. And should we work, oh, looks like based on the height. Oh, we're good. Let me show you how to work with the envelopes. They come. The freebies may look just a little bit differently, but I'm going to use the one that's got 2 per page. These could be used as 4 separate elements. They could be cut and put together as a traditional envelope looking. It could be sealed and just be something to put in a tuck, but let me show you how to make them interactive and why I've chosen them in this particular spot. So when I cut out the envelopes, I'm going to make a choice ahead of time how I'm going to be using the envelopes. And because this envelope is going to be used kind of as a flip, and I'm going to have one that is going to be opened like a traditional envelope, and then one that's going to be opened the way that an envelope would be opened, like if it were ripped open. I don't know what you guys do with your junk mail, but sometimes I like the way the kind of the torn look looks too. So just kind of trimming that up. So before I trim further, I'm going to make a decision here about what I'm doing. And on this one, I think what I'm going to do is cut and make this one the one that flips over. So as I do that, I will need to I'm going to fold this, use my bone folder, excuse me, my scoring tool, and I'm just going to score here. So let's do that on both of these. So I'm trimming that up on either side, but notice that I've left the white from the paper that it was printed on either side here. So I'll show you that piece is actually quite important. So I started to do the envelopes like this because I was often taking envelopes apart so that I could open them in different ways and manipulate them and use them besides just being an envelope. So these look like envelopes, but they're really more like a working element for your journal. So think of them more like that instead of thinking of them as a envelope only. Okay, kind of start to think about things in the matter of the shape. What shape are they? And what could I make from that shape that's unique, that's a working element? Because a lot of the things in the kits that I have are actually, they're like rectangular or square shapes, and that's because a lot of those shapes are repeated in the journal making process. Different sizes, but different uses. Think about how many so many things are rectangular in shape. So I'm inking this, and I'll decorate it after, but I'm going to want to notice where this needs to be in order for it to come down and look like a working element before I do much else, so that I know where I can glue it on the back side here. So I'm going to get it where I want. And before I move forward, I'm actually going to glue this down there. So I'm using this as a flap. So one thing you could do at this point is just put glue here and here and have another tuck spot if you're making like stuffed pockets. That's a real option. Oops. Make sure you get it straight. Okay, so this one, I'm wanting it to be, it's got a little bit extra here. This is why they're not always exactly uniform that way, so that you have a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this down. And because it's in a flip, so if I was going to paste this into my journal, before I cut too much of this off at this point, let's just say, right, I could glue it down and have it be something that isn't a flip. I could have it, you know, flip up and then put another pocket, but I'd have a little opportunity here and can flip down. But I think it's fun along the way to kind of make some decisions as you go, what you'd like to do. Some people like to plan it out. You do it how your preference is, but I like the fact that something doesn't have to be only the same thing every time, and that I could be a little bit creative by just altering a few different things. Oh, not good. So that may need a little repair. So that's my first one. Okay, I'm not going to seal it up. And then this one, I'm going to make it like a tear. So this one's folded. So I'm going to keep it together. And when I put this one together, what I'm going to do is use this. Let's see. Cut the one side off. This is going to be the top that matches, and then see where it needs to fold. And then this will be my part that gets glued together. So actually, let's make it look like an envelope from the one side, but have it look like it's kind of torn open on this side. So I'm just going to create a little bit of a tear. You could age it however you want to stress it. I want to show you mostly the functionality of the elements as they go together. And notice that I haven't sealed them together yet. Oops. Probably do quite a bit of inking off camera. I'm an ink girl. Okay. So now as I'm putting this in, I've got interactivity in a couple of different ways. Where did my page go? So this is going here, right? And I'm probably, because I can see this hedge here, I probably am not going to want that to show. So only for design purposes am I going to kind of cut this out. We'll see, I'm not sure if that will be enough. But we're going to see the little bit of a top here. Okay. Okay. So this piece, and this piece, my video dropped and stopped working. So I want to go ahead right now and show you that instead of making tabs with paper, I'm actually going to use this tape because most of it will be hidden and it creates the most flexibility here. So here we're making a strip here that this is going to fold in and out. And I'm not sure, should we do just make this a pocket? Let's just make this a pocket. And the way that I'm going to do that is by folding this together and creating a notch there. Okay. Cut enough tape that matches the edge here. And I'm putting it on the inside where this is going to be glued so that you can't see it. You won't even see the tape. Wanting to attach it right at the edge as if it was a folding element. So I don't know if we can see that, but I've taped that in there like that. Can you fold out? And I'm going to wait to do a lot more to it here because we're going to add the, we'll see. I'm going to attempt to add the magnet. It's a little more challenging to do it, but let's see if we can do it. So there's that. Okay, the next one is this one. We're going to pop that in here the same way, which is to add the tape. You could use washi tape. You can use even just a regular piece of paper and do this. This tape is nice too, let's see, because it is a little bit forgiving when you put it down because it's meant to kind of rip off of your skin. So remember that it does have that element to it. So in some parts you may need to add glue, but let's see. So as you're going along the way too, make sure that things, you know, that they're working properly with each level that you add in. Okay. So I want these to flip. And I'm going to do the same thing with these pieces, okay? So before I seal these up, I'm going to use the tape add these elements. Hiding it inside, that's why I didn't sew this up. Hide this inside. just line it up and, whoops, noted. What I should have done is put it on this back side, so the next one will know that for sure. And we'll make sure you put it on the back side. One, same thing here. We're going to work it on this back side. Tape goes there. I was wrong. It has to be on this side in order for it to work. So I'm going to glue this pocket together now. I probably need to add a little bit of tape here where I still keep getting a little bit too aggressive when I'm scoring my paper. This is what it looks from the back side, and then what it looks like from the front. These pockets will get stuffed. Okay. So now in order to cover this piece up, what I have here, I'm going to put Marie. She's my final fold out, but we're gonna put this down, make sure got the right size. It's a little bit too big, it's gonna have to trim it down. This piece here is my pocket for the very back that's gonna hide the flaps here, right? So to create the pocket back, I'm going to do the very same thing here that I did on the other pocket here. I'm taking more out from the center and gradually scooping it up to the outside. Totally optional. I just like how that looks. Okay, so Marie is going to flip from the bottom. Attach her here. So you're going to put basically all of your things that flip out get put on the background, on the very back page, or the page that is already a fixed place in your journal. They all flip out from there. Okay, and once you have those down, the ones that you are flipping out, then you'll paste your page that's kind of covering those. Okay, second to just trim that a little bit more. Oops. Needs a little bit more. So along the way, I'm just trimming each page even to fit. I know the approximate size, but in order to make sure that everything's fitting, just kind of measure it along the way. Okay, and I don't want to see this up the top. So when I said it's not completely permanent, this is part of what I meant. It's forgiving. But everything's going to be glued down once I get this background page put on. Okay, so here. Getting close, guys, to being done. Thanks for your patience with me. Really can't tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you. Take the time to watch. I'm so excited about what everyone's learning. I look forward to heading into the Facebook group and seeing what people are creating. Oops. Just really enjoy that. Okay, so I've covered up that page part there. This will need to dry a little bit. Need more glue. So you'll need more, a little bit more glue on the parts that do have that tape. And so the way that our flip could go is either like this, right? We could also do it like that, and we can add pockets here. I'm not going to do that in the video. I may later after I get done with you guys, but that I'm wanting you to see is really the basis of things. We can tuck something in here, and now let's pay attention to see if I can get you a magnet on this. So the reason, one reason I said that they're challenging because it's hard to know and to get things done right. That's all. And they require some forethought. So mine came like this, and these are these from Amazon. 100 pieces, 10 by 1 millimeter magnet. Okay, and so you know how picky magnets are, right? They only go together one way. One side repels and one side pulls it together. Whoa. I think these are so magnetic, I think those just popped right back onto my magnets. First thing I'm going to do is the part that is open and I haven't put down, I'm going to choose where I'm going to put my magnet. Probably in the center. It's going to be hidden, but basically just going to tape it into place, hidden, okay? And then what you'll want to do is make sure you have that centered over the right place, and that's going to give you a good idea of where this one needs to go. So I'm just kind of pressing on it here where I want so that I get a little bit of an impression on this side. Oh, I need to press a little bit harder. And thank goodness for the removable tape, right? So you'll want to make sure that you have the right edge to match the right one, because if I try to do it this way, it repels it, so it wouldn't close if I did it that way. And this is what I find challenging. I should have left this open. I've even contemplated at this point maybe even reopening my flap so I can do this. Probably should have been done before my flap was glued shut, because I'm going to be approximating where that is. Let's see. Oh, got it. I'll probably do better. I'm actually going to Yep, that works. Okay, that's it. That's the magnet. Close this shut again. So thank you so much for joining me today. We've made 3 of these like little storage areas, and we've mastered several types of clips for keeping them shut. I'm going to do the decorating off camera. Oops. Thought I got that right. I'm going to do the decorating off camera, and show you everything at the end. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day. But you get the idea here. I'm going to have to put this here in this spot. So I'll show you everything when we're done. Thank you for joining me. Hope to see you in the next video. Appreciate you so much.